to see Alien Romulus for my birthday. It was my birthday gift to myself, and I grew up with the series. My father and I watch them all together, and I've seen all of them. And we know, if I'm talking to the Alien fans, there are some that are not good. So going into this one, I had pretty much just baseline expectations, but I understood that it was going to be a direct sequel to the original 1979 Alien. So I thought that was promising. I sit down. I know it was co-written by Fede Alvarez and directed by him, who did the Evil Dead remake in 2013. So I knew it was going to have more of a horror lean. So I'm watching the film, and it's microcosmic. It's a very small group of people in a large space, but still, confined. There's a lot of confinement, which is the original formula. Take a couple people, confine them, put this scary thing in there with them. But as I'm watching the film, I note that there are elements of the prequels that are brought in. There are elements from Prometheus and Covenant that are brought into the film. And there are even redemptive arcs from the films that didn't work, like Resurrection. I feel like the third act of this one is like a redemptive act for Alien Resurrection. There are classic story beats that you have to have in an Alien film. You have to say, "Get away from her, you bitch." You have to have one of the synthetics run amok. You have to have, a nail biting tense scene in a corridor. This time they do it vertically, and like the tension was great. The performances were good. The aliens looked amazing. They held off showing them till the end. I felt it to be a very respectful and meaningful entry in this series of films.
I mean, I enjoyed it. Let me just put that right out there. I enjoyed it. It is a good movie. I don't think it's, superlative, but I still liked it. I still had fun watching it, and a lot of that to me was down to the production elements. The set design is off the charts. I absolutely love the way that Romulus Station is set up. I love the divided pathways of a Romulus and a Remus wing. That's a very nice meta reference there. Without spoiling anything, the nesting corridor, for lack of a better term, was a great reveal. The cinematography and the color schemes and the lighting were really just a feast for the eyes. Like I was blown away by how it was basically shot like a puzzle box. Like there was one really good scene where the camera comes down from what ends up being a horizontal corridor and then turns down a vertical one in one seamless motion. That's really good stuff. Most of the visual effects, I was pretty impressed by, except for the final adversary. And like Eric said, you have to have a synthetic run amok. You didn't have to use AI to graft Ian Holmes' face onto one of them. That was in poor taste as far as I'm concerned. Again, well, same thing with putting Anya Taylor-Joy's face on her younger version in Furiosa. It's like, let's get away from this AI crap. We just had 2 strikes over it. Stop doing it. It's like, and especially with Furiosa, it's like she grows up into Charlize Theron, so you don't need a child version that looks like Anya Taylor-Joy, because she's still not going to look like Charlize Theron at the end. So stop doing that stuff. Bad. No, don't do it. But once you get past that and you kind of accept that this is more of a formulaic by the numbers Alien film that's just trying to be good, that's when you can really appreciate it. Like, yeah, there's things I can nitpick to death. Like the fact that Kaylee Spaney is the new Ripley because she's got top billing, not for any other reason. But I really like David Johnson's performance as Andy. Like the film kind of starts out with her being, her character's name is Rain, just be as on the nose as possible. But she's got this like replicant synthetic android adoptive brother that her dad reprogrammed, and that makes him a little bit dim-witted. So you combine the two of them and their desire to go to a more sunny agrarian world. It's like Of Mice and Men in space to a certain extent. But when we have to, reprogram Andy again to get through Romulus, David Johnson, who's a relatively new actor, like doesn't have very many credits, he turns a completely 180 and becomes this detached, cold, logical, borderline malevolent force, kind of like how Ash was in the original. So I really loved his performance. Like, most of the cast I could take or leave, but he absolutely knocked it out of the park. It should be a star-making role for him. So yeah, there's things that I didn't care for in the movie, but at the same time, it's by default the best one since Aliens. So, and like Eric said, they do make an effort to right the wrongs of the previous installment. So I can't fault it too much. You look at the 80% rating that it has on Rotten Tomatoes. If you look closer at the actual reviews, a lot of them are just basically 4 out of 5 critics saying, it's all right, which, okay, that skews the results for once. It's a bit of an outlier, but I'm okay with that.
It just makes me think this means they get to make more Alien movies, and I don't know that we need that.
I mean, it's a bit of a catch-22, because you can definitely see franchise fatigue setting in with a lot of these things, but at the same time, they're the only things making money. I mean, if you look at the box office for the year, 9 of the top 10 movies of the year so far for box office are sequels, and the 10th one is Quiet Place Day One, which I guess is a prequel. So everything is franchise right now. I don't agree with it. I don't like it, but that is the business reality of it. And because of that, the studios just cling closer and tighter to every IP they have, trying to, wring blood from a stone.
That's a nice way of saying it's your fault, people. Like, you keep going to see these things. They're going to keep making them. There is no way around it.
I mean, it's a self-perpetuating circle, because we keep watching them, and then they become the only option to watch.
This is the BTRP Media Network.